what I'm going to talk about at the moment is practically what's involved in this in an engagement. So I'm going to refer to a recent engagement that we did in Ireland. And it initiates with a series of interviews where our consultants will go and talk to a number of key stakeholders within the organization. And during these one-hour interviews, we ask a series of very simple questions. One of the key ones is we ask them to define success for the organization. So what does success look like? Then we get them to explain to us what drivers or what can the organization control to impact on that success. And it's quite amazing so in this example, we spoke to 24 stakeholders across various functional areas, which included the managing director, many people in sales and marketing, customer service, operations, finance, accounting, economists, and I'm sure there were more people interviewed as well. And one of the things that comes out of those type of meetings is you find there's an inconsistency of understanding across the organization where different senior people responsible for different parts of the organization will define success differently. So one of the very valuable things that we can do at that stage is to bring the key stakeholders together to get a consensus on what a common definition of success is for that organization. In other words, to put it quite simply, are the actions of those people employed by the company to maximize profit, or is it to maximize revenue, or is it to release a new product, or is it something else? And try and quantify what success looks like. The other aspect of that is focusing on the drivers. So we want to understand what decisions can be made which will have an impact on success. So things like you can hire more people, or you can use less people. You can invest more in branding or less in branding. You can change the mix. You can change pricing, etc. So what levers does the organization have at the disposal which can have an impact on success? And from that information, we can then start to look at building a model of strategy and all the data sets that are related to strategy. And what we look to do is we look to put it in context. We look to put the data in context on how it impacts on strategy. And quite often you'll find there'll be interdependencies as well. So one data set will have an impact on multiple strategies. And what we're trying to do there is build a model which allows the organization to see how strategy is impacted and what they should do and what they can do when intervention is required. At that stage, what we typically do is we bring all the stakeholders into a meeting and we'd run a workshop. And what we're looking to do there is we're looking to prioritize. Hopefully, we'll have come up with so many areas, opportunities for analysis and reporting that the organization won't want to do everything at the same time. So what they'll look to do and what we'll encourage them to do is prioritize a few key areas that we can use to initiate the business intelligence project. Once we achieve consensus there, we've got a very good roadmap for how business intelligence is going to link into strategy, what success looks like for the company, what the company can do to impact that success, and what are the prioritized applications that are going to get rolled out. What's the most important one that we want to deliver first? And ideally, that will be within a few weeks. And then what does the BI roadmap look like maybe 2 years down the road? What should encompass later on at that stage? So that's what a typical engagement looks like. It's very important that when we meet with the stakeholders, we're talking business and we're not talking about technology, semantic layers, ETL, master data management. It's purely a business conversation. But what's also important is that the people who are conducting those interviews are able to convert that business conversation into how it impacts on business intelligence and how business intelligence can be linked into strategy. One of the things that we would recommend strongly at the end of this process is that the company, if they haven't already mentioned it, include a dimension for forecasts. So once you've identified areas where decisions will have an impact on the business and information and data that's relevant to that, you want to forecast forward 3, 6, 12 months, depending on the industry, it could be 20 years. And the forecast is very important to the whole management of strategy here. And what forecasting really does is it says, based on the allocation of resources that we have today and the strategic execution we have today, this is the outcome we expect to get from it. So as they're monitoring their BI system, if the outcome that they desired is not being achieved, it allows them to then act. An act would be change the levers or the drivers that they have control over that impact on success and on the results. So that when it's up and running, you have an iterative process. So you have your forecast in your BI system, you're monitoring it using the BI system, and then the business is able to act when it's appropriate. And then it's a cyclical process which continues. So that's practically, in a very high level, what an engagement would look like. One of the things I'd just like to comment on this stage is why do organizations, and we've done 3 of late. One we're doing at the moment is for one of Ireland's largest utility companies. We've done one for one of Ireland's 2 largest banks, and we've done one for one of Ireland's 3 largest telecommunication companies. And the reason why we often get asked into these engagements, sometimes it's because the organization has a strong focus on strategy management, strategy execution. But more often than not, the reason why we're asked in is not because the focus of the organization is strategy. The focus is the organization is very keen to get the benefits and return of a business intelligence system. But they have so many data sets, so many pieces of information, and so many indicators that they're uncertain as to what should be monitored and what should go into the business intelligence system. And what the purpose of the exercise of bringing us in to engage is to really identify where the BI system should start. And really by doing that, what you're doing is you're avoiding a situation where technical people will take a very large data warehouse or a very large data dump, and they'll start building indicators and metrics on the back of it. And what you end up then is a large volume of lead and lag indicators, which really, many of them, even if irrespective of whether it's a positive or negative indicator, there's nothing the business can do about it. Therefore, it begs the question, why are you monitoring and tracking it if there's no associated action with it? So by doing this exercise at the start, it really stacks the odds in favor of a successful business intelligence solution, which will deliver results in weeks and will be offering very clear value to the business, and therefore the uptake from a business user's perspective is very high, and that's what the real benefit of those systems are.